So I just got home, but I'm super excited because guess what's in the mail? Tulip World. These are the amaryllis that we're going to be waxing later, but Tulip World is the company we're talking about today. So come on inside. Today we're going to be talking about part 2 of forcing blooms. Now if you did watch part 1, we talked about the whole entire forcing pre-chilled blooms in-house. You would start in the summer or the fall and you would go through a regimented period. At the end of that lesson I said if this feels a little too time-consuming or Fahrenheit constricting, then you have come to the right place. Because for the 2020 season, I ordered pre-chilled blooms from a company in order to go ahead and take all of that unnecessary work out of the equation. Before we take a deep dive into the world of ordering our pre-chilled bulbs from a company, I wanted to take a slight step back and talk to you about something that I think is pretty important. If you have a question at this point, such as, hey Kim, why can't I just go ahead and pot up one pot and then I would pre-chill them at the end of fall in-house for that 12 to 14 week period? In fact, why can't I just go ahead, if I just have one pot, put it in, say, the family fridge? Well, the answer to that, unfortunately, is no, and here's why. Fruit such as apples release an ethylene gas, and while the gas is a naturally occurring process, it does have a negative impact on the performance of flowering bulbs. So instead of taking all of the apples out of the fridge, I decided to search for a company that would do the pre-chilling process for me. And it turns out there are a few out there. I went ahead and ordered mine from Tulip World. Tulip World goes ahead and does that pre-chilling process for the 12 to 14 week period, and they begin shipping them out sometime in December. I received mine, and then I potted them up right away. Now the one thing that I will point out is they do need to be potted up right away because the pre-chilling process does wear off. I did go through some of the steps in part 1, but in part 2 I will go into a little bit more detail. I always use old plastic bottles or old plastic nursery pots cleaned with a 10% bleach to water solution to line the bottom of the pots. If my pots have been previously used, I also wash the pots with the bleach water mix prior to planting and scrub them with a pot scrubbing brush. Once the pots and plastic filling is thoroughly cleaned, I place the plastic in the pots to cover the drain hole. Now I can begin to fill the pots with soil. One of the nice things about working with forced blooms is that there is no need to overthink the soil. But the reason you can use a variety of soil options is that the bulbs arrive to you packed full of everything they need to bloom. And as long as you are not dealing with pure clay or pure sand, your bulbs should set a series of beautiful blooms. Fill the pots almost full and place the bulbs as close together as possible without having them touch. Now sprinkle a light layer of soil on top to stabilize the bulbs, as you don't want them to shift and fall onto each other. Remember to keep roughly 1/3 of the bulb above the soil level. Now that the bulbs are all tucked in, water and set the pots aside for at least 2 weeks with indirect light and roughly 60 degrees to wake them up and allow the roots to grow. At the end of that waking up period, you will notice that your bulbs are starting to form shoots. They first looked a little bit like this with a little bit of a light yellow green to them. And now, as you can see with these tulip pink impressions, which are also mixed in with some crocus, the green shoots are really starting to come. And I have this other lovely pot that's chock full of tulip salmon impression. And you can see that they're green, but they're more of a salmon green. I'm really excited for these. So now, once you've come this far, congratulations. You're roughly 2 to 4 weeks away from some beautiful blooms.